Mary Sue Cave Honors Rain Garden. Everyone has a name tag, so I'm not going to go around and have everyone introduce themselves. We have members of the Cave clan here, and members of the science community, and the honors community, and the foundation, and we'll all get to know each other better, I hope, over lunch. Let me start things off by saying a few things about Mary Sue. I guess, honestly, I knew Al much better, and Al was my idea of, like, Hollywood Central Casting's notion of a dean, because he was the dean when I arrived here, and that's, in my mind, what a dean is. I think of the platonic form as Al, and when his romance started with Mary Sue, it was even better. The movie just got better and better as things went on. Getting to know her through her file was really interesting. I saw in her personnel file some of the most over-the-top, glowing reviews of advising that I've ever seen. She was a great teacher, and that comes through too, but the main thing everybody wanted to talk about was her dedication to advising and the skill with which she did it one-on-one. And in fact, there was an Outstanding Research Award, an Outstanding Teaching Award, and there was no Outstanding Advisor Award. And when someone decided this should happen, there seems to have been sort of a general acclamation. Well, Mary Sue Cave first. She will be the first one, and then after that we'll have some thinking to do, but there's no thinking there. She was clearly the one. And that's the way the honors folks who've been around for a long time remember her as well, as the most dedicated advisor they'd ever seen. So in that light, instead of having me go on, I decided what we should do is have a student speak. So Blythe Howard, who is one of her true fans, could not be here today. She's a new mother with a baby at home. She's in Chicago. But she sent a page, which I'll read to you in just a second. I do want to say, I found one thing that everyone should notice here. In a list of goals for the year, things like encouraging co-sponsorship with speakers in the honors program, getting a Phi Kappa Phi and a Phi Beta Kappa presence on campus. The last goal for the year was, I would like to become a wiser human being. It was just the kind of thing that you find in someone's file and suddenly you realize, oh, I know what this person is like. And another thing I found was that she went to Wilson College in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, and I happen to know that Wilson College is, since my wife is from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, it's an old line women's college when very few women were educated. So if there's a line of sort of intellectual genetics of where her feisty, strong, Socratic method intelligence comes from, it's out of Wilson College in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. As soon as I saw that on her vita, I sort of, again, knew more of what she was like. But here's what Blythe Howard says. Thank you so much for inviting me to share my memories of Mary Sue at today's dedication. I deeply regret that I can't be there today with you today to celebrate her life and impact on us all. When I heard about this dedication, my first thought was, Mary Sue would love this. A rain garden. It's something that celebrates nature, is eco-friendly, gives back to the university community. That's Mary. I was lucky to know her first as a teacher, advisor, and later as a dear friend. Her reputation as the Readings Conference professor of choice preceded her. Before I even arrived at UT, I was told by an older friend, be sure and get in Mary Sue's section. I would learn a lot from her. She's really the best. Nikki assured me you had to find a way to get into that section. Well, after 1 week at registration, which was then called SOAR, Student Orientation and Registration, I hit the jackpot. Mary Sue and Readings Conference were like burger and fries. They went together. It takes a special, patient person to teach great books and philosophy to a room full of know-it-all 18-year-olds. Mary Sue was that person. She never taught us what to think. She taught us how to think. She encouraged us to read the text, focus on what they were telling, and formulate our opinions. She was unflappable in the classroom. Teaching Readings Conference was not for the faint of heart. There was laughing, yelling, sometimes even crying and gnashing of teeth. But rather than telling us what to think or how to believe, she served as a guide, pausing and nodding, seldom speaking. I'll never forget a particular class when we ended up knee-deep in a heated discussion related to religion. We all demanded to know what Mary Sue thought. She smiled and said, "Doesn't matter what we think." It was absolutely maddening, wonderful, because it forced us to formulate our own opinions. As an advisor, Mary Sue was thoughtful, thorough. She took the time to get to know me, understand my personal and professional goals, and only then did she make a suggestion. What professors I might consider, when to switch majors. I did switch from chemistry to English at the end of my freshman year, and I did so knowing that my parents would cut off my financial support. I needed to figure out how to pay my next tuition bill. Mary Sue suggested I apply for a Block and Southwest scholarship, wrote the recommendation, and I was stunned. Not only did she help me not only did she enable me to continue at the university, but this was the first time in my life anyone had supported my own dreams like that. Long after my freshman year ended, I kept in touch with her. Occasionally we would meet for coffee. Eventually we became friends, and I also enjoyed getting to know Al and other members of her family. As a friend, Mary Sue was funny, caring, and I felt I could always trust her for an honest but diplomatic response to my questions. We remained in touch right up to her death in 2005. I still think of her often and fondly, most recently upon the arrival of my daughter. I can feel certain wherever Mary Sue's spirit is now, she's asking questions and giving everyone else time to think and focus. So, for the science side of our event today, I would like to turn things over to the scientist who maybe can tell us a bit about rain gardens.
Well, I'll do my best, and maybe I'll get my colleague Hans to pitch in as well. On behalf of the President's Commission on the River, I'd like to welcome everyone today to our dedication for the second rain garden. We now actually have 3 on campus. This is the second one that was installed last summer. Before I talk a little bit about what a rain garden and how it functions, I wanted to acknowledge the efforts of some groups and individuals who helped with the project. I brought a list so I would make sure I didn't forget anybody. I want to acknowledge Paige Armstrong, who helped initiate the donation for grants through the Wayne Stranahan Lee Trust to help fund the project. It was done in conjunction with the Toledo Community Foundation. I want to thank Doug Collins from our grounds crew here at UT who helped prepare the site. Jay Brewster and his staff from Blanchard who actually did the design in consultation with the commission and Hans and some other folks, and did the installation of the garden just over a year ago. Hans Gotkins, a faculty member here at the university, who's also a member of the President's Commission on the River, who advises and helps us with our rain garden projects as well as some other work here on campus. I want to thank the Toledo Rain Gardens Initiative, which is a local group here in Toledo. American Rivers and the City of Toledo, Marcy Kapler's office, and they started an effort a number of years ago to try to promote the use of rain gardens for stormwater drainage in our community, and they have been an active supporter of our projects here on campus. I want to thank Tom Barden and the Honors Program for the willingness to give us a location, and it turned out to be ideal, I think, for the students for their educational purposes, and also they can look out in the morning and take a look at it every day. And I want to thank Ellen and all her staff and Heather over at Institutional Advancement and the UT Foundation for all their help with the projects. So it takes a lot of people to put something together like this, and I wanted to make sure that I acknowledged everyone here today. Basically, rain gardens are designed to deal with the issue of stormwater runoff, which is an emerging serious problem in many communities where we have so much concrete, rooftop, paved surfaces. After a heavy rain event, the water, rather than making its way into the soils, tends to be collected into drains and into storm waters. Our infrastructure was never designed to hold that much water as our cities grow and we have more buildings and more infrastructure in our communities.